Hello, Tali. Thank you very much for having me, welcoming me to your project. My story is made of a journey that actually started a long time ago, and it was a journey about rediscovering myself and finding peace in my heart. And my top ambition was to live life that feels good on the inside. So my background obviously became very much involved with human psychology, because as I said, I was interested in my inner world and in the connection between the body, mind and emotions, and in anything that is stopping me, any form of inhibitions that are stopping me from reaching my full potential, from reaching that place, that changeless core inside you, which is completely still, well rooted like a tree. My top ambition, Tali, was to discover stillness inside me that is so unwavering, so unflappable, that I can make a cup of tea and perform on a stage with the same peace and stillness inside me. It's like a rider is sitting on the horse. So it's dancing those two energies. It's being the quality of the horse and challenging yourself and really facing all my inhibitions like a horse. It's going forward, and the rider, which is in a beautiful relationship of stillness and calmness with the horse. So that quietude, dancing with the noise of the world and the running, and became my magnificent obsession, to find the balance between those two and happily and joyfully dance it throughout my life. Well, going back to your project, I do strongly resonate, Tali, with free will, theme. My history was very much into inferiority, so yeah, I spent 30 years of my life living in inferiority, living in a very low self-esteem. Okay, and I had to embark on this journey of really getting in touch with myself, falling or rising in love with myself. Tremendous journey. This led me to a fantastic discovery, mostly inspired by Latsu, Vedic teaching, which is about embracing whatever it's unfolding in your life. It's saying yes to no, saying yes to yes. It's being with what is, being present and being grounded as well, and being open in your heart, with your head dropped into your heart. So I almost discovered the world inside me, made of parameters of the open heart with no head. Imagine your eyes on your chest, no head, drop. And this is my brain. My heart is my brain. My knees is my presence, and my feet is my grounding. It's like a root of a tree. Yeah, it holds firmly. It celebrates the nourishment of the soil. It's patient. It's still. It's quiet. And you've got these branches and happily swaying in the wind. So it's, again, beautiful combination of those two, the quietude and the movement and the motion and evolution. We are evolving. It's very important to find that changeless core inside you, so that whatever happens in your life, whatever happened in my life, did not impact on that stillness and quietude and that harmonious dance that I've been dancing in the last 11, 12 years. So big breakthrough was to simply start loving my inhibitions, start loving my image in the mirror. Yeah, I mean saying loving phrases to myself, Bashenka, because that's my true name. I like the sound of it. So Bashenka, how are you today? What can I give you, baby? How can I make you happy, my baby? So it's having that narrative, removing the compulsive age from your inner talk, which is the must, the shoots, the ought, yeah, and bringing that softness of I can, I will, and I choose. Yeah, so...
This is really beautiful. Can you just share with us, I mean, to get to such a profound place, how did, just a few words about your background, how did you support yourself to study, to have the freedom to go and do the ultimate state that you are expressing with us?
Yeah. It's, you see, there are two pillars in my life. It's awareness, it's consciousness and choice. The moment you have awareness, you have a choice. So knowing for me, it's the main drive, to know, to learn, to evolve, to welcome all my little people inside my head and have a beloved relationship with all of them, with no judgment of you are of the less status or you are greater status, embracing all my internal identities. Yeah, so it is about, very much so, Charlie, I became infatuated with knowing, because knowing takes you to the place of choice, and you are no longer in the denial of not knowing, not choosing. Even basically, most of my life I was choosing not to know, because I like that place of numbness and zombiness. But I must say, 10, 12 years ago, my life became an alert and vigilant case, whereby I became the observer, the observed, and I learned how to observe those two. So, where I was, Tali, I was brought up by parents who chose to be in a profession called cleaner. They were cleaning. And I was born to the family that split up. My parents split up when I was born. I was the youngest. And I lived in a wooden hut. I lived in a wooden hut that was falling apart. There was no water. The toilet was a bucket in corner of the room. So it was quite unbelievable, and I was asking. I remember myself asking. I remember asking myself questions. What am I doing here? Who are these people? What is this environment about? And I grew up in the poorest family in the village, a mountain village in southern Poland, with amazing ambitions, with amazing imaginations. I painted a piano on the edge of my bed, and that's how I learned how to read music. Okay, I was imagining the sound. My mum was cleaning, one of the places she was cleaning had a piano. So this is where my infatuation in playing the piano began. So Tali, we are talking here not having anything. It was just, I left my home when I was 16 years old, and I said, this is it. I need to find my new family, and I felt that separation, individuation stage where you have to assert yourself with into a new identity. You are finding yourself a new family, new brothers, new sisters, new mothers, new fathers. And I found it quite daunting at the beginning. However, the miracles unfolded, because I was staying in strangers' houses. They were taking me under their roof, they were feeding me. Obviously I was trying every summer, every weekend, I was working. I was trying to get some money. I was helping my mum as well to pay the bills. But I was trying because I was a good student. I was getting lots of financial rewards. There's a system in Poland. When you're a good student, you get some grants and funds for the maintenance, for the boarding school I went to. So in boarding school I was just adopted by strangers, by a family. I was treated like they had the only child, daughter, whom I shared a bed with, room with. I became their daughter, they adopted me. So this is how I finished my A-levels. And then my bachelor in social policy and law was with another family who just took me under the roof, and again I stayed there until I finished my studies. So I was almost like a bird, you know, the proverbial bird in the Bible it doesn't have to worry about what he's going to eat or where he's going to sleep. I almost manifested that throughout my life. And it's the same with London, darling. I came to London with £50 in my wallet after divorce. Very, very difficult period in my life, because my finances were completely wiped off, because I had to relinquish my beautiful apartment, beautiful limousine. I had a fantastic life, well-established profession. I was a clinical social worker working closely with clinical psychologists, helping people to unlock their potential, specifically women fleeing domestic violence. So I came to London with nothing, really, and making a spontaneous decision of just jumping into my friend's car and said, I'm going to see London for 2 weeks. With 50 quid, you can imagine, I was living on digestive biscuits, and I was sleeping on the floor with random people, and searching for work with no English, just a piece of paper, I'm looking for work, etc. So, ability to start from scratch, from nowhere, has been always my forte. Why? Because I've learned how to play with identities. Since my early childhood, I loved theatre. I loved creating a playing theatre. I loved costumes. I loved the energies of the role that you are soaking into and you are demonstrating on the stage. My wooden hut was a stage. My mum was allowing us to just play whatever we wanted. So we were doing performances in our wooden hut. So this is where ability to having no identity, yeah, which then links to my Buddhist spirituality, which is not having identity, helped me to get from zero to something, which is in London I simply studied for 9 years, various therapists, various approaches to care and therapy, and I have created a good collection of knowing, as a traditional knowing, because I did psychoanalysis at Freudian Institute, I did shamanic study. So this is where it is going from nowhere to somewhere. It's been always my forte, and reinventing myself. I think it's part of the free will, where you are truly connected to your inner resources. You know yourself, you can trust yourself, and you go with new journey, new identity, in a very trustful and joyous manner. You don't resist the opening of new journey, new travel, and living in that non-resistance became my fuel. Fuel, non-resisting. It's open, it's receiving. Let it through you. Own it, live it, love it, express it, embody it, and let it go if it doesn't serve the highest purpose. If it doesn't allow you to create the highest expression of yourself, to make compatible life choices, to create perfect formula for success. When I say success, it always boils down to inner, changeable core within you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barbara. You are just the example of every word in my song Free Will that came to me on that Christmas Eve. You live the song. You are a true example for really shining individual that bring light and really let the vessel. You're a true vessel. Thank you so much to be part of it.
Yeah.